Happy October, everybody. Although I'm not ready to put my skis away for the season yet, a lot of people here in Pennsylvania are, so I figured that I would share my winterization procedure with everybody. This video is going to be for maybe somebody that has a little bit of knowledge and has some tools at home to be able to perform some simple tasks. And for somebody that thinks that they may be able to perform a winterization but may not know how, to save them from having to go to the dealer or going to a marina or somewhere that works on boats and skis to have a winterization performed. And that's just going to save you from having to pull the skis out, take them down to a dealer, drop them off, pick them up later. Winterization is really not that hard if you have a little bit of know-how. So let's dive in and I'll show you the simple steps that I take to get mine winterized for the season. There's basically 5 steps to winterizing a 4-stroke watercraft, in my case, the GTX and the RXT 2017 and 2018. The first step is going to be adding Seadoo fuel stabilizer to your gas tank during the last ride of the season. And the reason to add it during that last ride is to make sure that it cycles through the whole fuel system of the ski during that ride. The label on the back of this Seadoo will tell you how much to add. Basically tells you 1 ounce or 30 mLs to 2.5 gallons. So what I typically do is I fill my tank and add the correct amount of Seadoo, take it out for the last ride, let it cycle through the tank, and leave it at that for the season there. Step number 2, when you return from that last ride of the season, is to run some RV and marine antifreeze through the system of the ski. And the way you're going to do that, if you have an air compressor at home, you may want to get into that flush port there and put some compressed air through there and blow out any of the water that may remain in the system. And some people actually don't add the antifreeze; they actually just blow out the system and call it done. I do add the RV and marine antifreeze every season just to be safe. My skis are going to go in heated storage this year, but I'm still going to do it. And the way that I do that is basically one of 2 ways, really. There's a siphon pump here from Walmart, costs I think $9, and I just added a piece of standard garden hose to the existing hose on the siphon pump, and that just has the hose connection end on the back side here. Now that's just going to go into your flush port. You're just going to take this, stick that down inside of your gallon of antifreeze, turn it on, and obviously first turn your ski on, turn the siphon pump on, and then once you see that antifreeze coming out the back of the ski, out the exhaust, you'll know that it has cycled through the system. Now, the other thing that you can do here, if you have one of these drill pumps, this just goes onto a standard drill, and it works the same way as that siphon pump does. Stick the one end of the hose down into the gallon of antifreeze, the other end onto the flush port of the ski, and while the ski's running, go ahead and cycle that through. Step number 3 is going to be to add some engine fogging oil, fogging spray into the cylinders. So what you're going to do is you're going to get into your engine there, pull your spark plugs out. First, take a look at those plugs, make sure that they're going to be okay for the upcoming season, because now would be the time to replace those so you don't have to pull them out again at a later date. If they do look like they need to be replaced, or if you have a considerable amount of hours on the ski and they need to be replaced. So basically what you're going to do with this fogging spray is get down in there once you pull the plugs out with this hose here. Now make sure you keep a hand on this just in case it would blow off. You don't want it to fall down into your cylinder. In most cases you would be able to go ahead and reach down there with something and grab it and get it out, but you don't want to take the chance on that. Make sure you keep a hold of it. And just spray some fogging spray down inside the cylinder. And once all of the cylinders are fogged, you'll want to turn the engine over for a little bit, just to coat the inside of the cylinders totally, and make sure that it's all covered inside there. And that's just going to keep the inside of the engine lubricated and helps with corrosion while it's sitting and not being run. Now, I'm not going to pull these out right now, but one thing to keep in mind when you are either putting your spark plugs back in or you're replacing your spark plugs, put some anti-seize around the threads just to keep those freed up and easy to deal with there, and check the insides of your electrical connections here, and if necessary, add some dielectric grease. Step number 4 is going to be this silicone spray. So BRP does make one of those XPS brand storage sprays that you can spray the engine down with, and that helps with corrosion on the exposed metal parts of the inside of the engine compartment. I typically use this $2 can of silicone spray instead of the XPS stuff. I feel like it's probably about the same thing. Don't quote me on that, but it has to be pretty much the same thing as far as I'm concerned. This silicone spray is not going to hurt the inside of your engine compartment. When the motor warms up next season, it's not going to smoke or cause any kind of issues for you. And I'll usually go around, coat the exposed metal parts of the engine with the silicone spray, and also come down into the IBR and into the pump and get your bolts and all of your moving parts and mechanisms back here and spray those down as well. And then the next season they should be without any corrosion, and they should be free. Now, this is a little bit more important for people that do ride saltwater. Up here in Pennsylvania, Lake Erie region, we are obviously riding freshwater, so it's not quite as much of a concern here, but I do still try to do that every year. So here's a little tidbit to consider, a little bonus for you if you don't know about this already. With your key in, if you hold in the IBR and hit the start button, IBR override comes on. You hit set, and you hold the up button, and as you can hear there, the IBR is actually going up. So if I come back here, the IBR is actually in the up position now. So now we can get in here and spray this all out and add your silicone spray. It just makes it a lot easier to get in there. And now when you start the ski back up, it'll actually drop the bucket back down and it'll go back to its normal position. But a lot of people don't know about that one. Step number 5 is going to be to go ahead and pull your battery out of the ski. Put it on a shelf somewhere with a battery tender, and that'll keep your battery fresh and ready to go for next season. And try to keep the battery out of the cold as much as possible also. Easy step, saves you a couple dollars down the road. Makes your battery last longer. It's just good practice to have there. Now, the last thing you should be doing, and I'm not going to necessarily call this a step because you should be doing this regularly anyway, is clean the skis up real nice. Maybe add some wax. Go down underside the hull and get anything off of the underside. Just polish them up, keep them nice. Treat the seats with some upholstery cleaner. Make sure that all the water is drained out of the seats, and that's what I have mine sitting here now. I had the RXT out the other day, and typically when I come back, I leave the seats like this, and that just alleviates any kind of mold issues from the seats sitting around wet. But you'll just want to clean the skis up nicely and put the covers on them, and that'll keep them nice and clean for the next season. Thanks for watching, everybody, and remember, the end of this season means the beginning of this season. So take care and be safe.